Ready to go? Awesome. So, hello everyone. My name is Jose Tapia. I'm one of the admission counselors here at St. Mary's University. I'm also an alumni from the university, so I'll get to share a little bit about my experience as we go through the presentation. But I hope you're excited. I hope you're ready to learn some good things about what it is that it takes to go to college and get a good education. And so we'll get into those topics right now. And so, just to start off, St. Mary's University at a glance, we are a 4 year private Catholic Marianist liberal arts institution. So, unpacking that a little bit, 4 years means that we do have bachelor's degrees. We also have combined programs where you can get your bachelor's and your master's program. We do have a law school here for students who are interested in becoming lawyers, judges, going into the law field. And of course, those graduate programs that we offer as well are available. And we are a private institution, so something specific about a private institution is that normally the classes, the school itself, the population that composes it tends to be a little bit smaller than most public schools. So you'll find that classrooms here at St. Mary's and in most universities tend to be roughly about 11 to 30, roughly about is what the ratio is for students in the classroom. So that allows for students to have the opportunity to kind of get to develop relationships with their professors, especially in the first couple of years of classes before you actually start specializing a little bit deeper within your major. So that's one of the main things. And then another thing is that we are internally funded. So we do have scholarships that we provide specifically from our own institution that we have fundraised. We have created different funds for students to actually apply for. We do have some government related funds that are also applied, and of course we do accept FAFSA as well as other financial aid applications, and so you can still receive funding from there, but one specific aspect is that we're internally funded, and I'll kind of talk about that in a little bit as well. Another aspect about St. Mary's is that we are a Catholic Marianist institution. So the Marianists, really, when they founded St. Mary's, their main mission was to bring about an education that would provide a holistic perspective, right? So their focus was to create that family spirit, and also a main aspect of the Marianists is to adapt and change. And I can definitely see that happening today with all this that has happened with our society, the pandemic. Our professors and even our students who are graduating have had to adapt, and thanks to the teaching that they've received from their professors, they've been able to prepare and transition into the workforce. And so that's something that I think is very valuable in the education that we receive. And then also liberal arts institution. I guess the main thing to take out of that is that we do have several majors, and it's very common for students to double major and minor. And so if you do have dual credit coming from community college or taking some college classes already in high school, you can certainly transfer them over, and that gives you enough space to add additional classes and potentially add another major as well. So that's something that we do offer, and so certainly something that you can definitely see here. We are also Hispanic serving, and then roughly our student population is roughly 3,500. So that kind of gives you an idea of what usually private schools look like. Now, like I mentioned before, the Marianists have 5 main pillars that they established in their different programs. And I mentioned the family spirit, also the adaptability and change, but also providing that quality education, right? So you'll kind of hear a little bit about what our professors and programs do, and so that way you can see the different options and what that looks like. Now, San Antonio is a big aspect to our university and who we are. And so you can see here the San Antonio Spurs are here. We are also a military city, so we do have 5 different forts that are here based in San Antonio. We also have the Pearl, which is a nice green area or touristic area that students can go to. Of course, we have the Riverwalk and different other activities that students can do after hours or just to kind of enjoy the weekend. So different things like that that are for sure a cultural vibrancy that also gets carried into your experience in college. Now, a little bit more delving into the university. Like I mentioned before, specifically, St. Mary's has a 16 student class average. So that kind of gives you an idea. It's normally almost the size of a high school classroom is the case. And so our student to professor ratio is 11 to 1. So for every 11 students, we have one faculty professor. So you kind of start getting the perspective of how this school kind of looks like, the population of it. Normally, it's hard to go unnoticed here at St. Mary's. Sometimes you'll see people wave. You don't know their name, but you still say hi because it's just a close-knit community. You see them every day. And so that's one of the really awesome things that that development of family spirit. And then, of course, like I mentioned before, 94% of our professors do have a PhD degree or a terminal degree, which is awesome because you can kind of go and pick their brains and see what they're researching and have really awesome classes with them. And so that's something that is very valuable. And the other 6% are really cool because they're actually former FBI agents. We do have police officers teaching class. We do have business professionals as well. So people who are right now in the field coming back and teaching from experience. So that's something really cool that we have as part of our faculty base. And 42% of our population is guys, 58% is girls. So that's a little bit of a demographic. And a really cool fact, so this year we actually started our esports team. And so if any of y'all like to play video games or things like that and compete, we certainly do have that option now. And we are looking to have a scholarship available for students who do participate in this. And it is part of our athletic department. So it's really cool that we have that. Along with that, we do have 11 NCAA Division II teams. So we do have sports that students could potentially also receive scholarships. And we have that in soccer, baseball, volleyball, softball, golf, tennis, and I believe those are the main sports that we have that in. All right, now moving on. So of course, since you are from outside of Bexar County, we do have options for living on campus. Most of these do require different class or credit requirements for you to actually live in them. So sometimes we will have dorms that are specifically for juniors and seniors. We have other ones that are specifically for incoming freshmen. There's other ones that are theme-based. So you'll have some that are for only STEM majors, so science, engineering, and technology. Others are pre-law, so it can vary depending on what your interest is. And so there's a lot of options available as well. So we do have a newer option that's usually for upperclassmen, but it does have a pool and everyone can access that pool. It's really awesome. And so most of them do have games inside, different things, accommodations, TVs, and stuff like that. So those are different things that you can definitely see in terms of living areas. Now for dining, we do have, it's pretty unique. We do have a pub for those who are 21 and up, so that's certainly available. But we do have different meal plans for students who just enjoy different things. So we do have Subway, Chick-fil-A. We do have the cafeteria, which provides meals all day. And the really cool thing is that the cafeteria is actually a buffet option, so you can certainly grab different plates, and so whatever they serve that day, they usually try to change it, and so you'll have different plates per day, and so different cool things like that just to kind of keep in mind. Now, some fun traditions, activities that we do here at St. Mary's. You'll see a couple pictures here on the screen. There, you on the left hand side, or your left hand side, you'll see a girl holding a python. It's pretty cool. That was actually part of our exotic petting zoo. We do a lot of volunteering, so volunteering is a big aspect. It's something that we believe is important to give back of the many things that one is blessed with. So giving back is one of the things that a lot of our students do. So you have a picture there in the middle with a couple students at a carnival ground. So they were helping clean up the carnival ground. It's actually Morgan's Wonderland, which is a carnival ground specifically for disabled students. So it's really, really awesome that they got to do that. And the other picture, you'll see a couple students running. So I promise they're not running from any test. They're actually running to do a 5K run for the community. And so it's a fundraiser that we do every year. This year was really, or past year, I would say, was really awesome because we actually used an app to track everyone's 5K. And so we had students that were international as well, from different parts of the world that actually participated in this 5K run. And so we did get to continue that, even though we all had to do it in different areas. But we still keep that same spirit, and we know it's for the community, and so we try our best to do that. And of course, we do have organizations. We roughly have about 90 organizations registered here. Even though we are a smaller private university, we do have sororities and fraternities. So it's not too common to find fraternities and sororities in smaller universities, but we certainly do have that option. And we have the social ones as well as the academic ones. So you can definitely look at what each one offers. But we also have different clubs as well. So roughly about 2 years ago, we had a ballroom dancing club that started. And so that was really cool. Students got to learn some salsa moves on Thursdays and then go on Fridays and show off. And so, different things like that are really unique to a private institution, a smaller school. Just because since it's a smaller community, you really are empowered to create your own clubs. So there's not much politics whenever it comes to creating new things, and so you really have those opportunities to take on and be a president of a club, or more opportunities to run for class president. And so I think those are pretty unique options that are available. And if there isn't any clubs that you certainly enjoy, you can always start your own. So that's one of the cool things that I think it's pretty interesting and pretty unique as well, because you want to make sure that you're getting the best out of your education. And also at the bottom and in the far back, you'll see a picture of what is Oyster Bake. So Oyster Bake is this huge event that happens on campus. We have roughly about 70 to 80,000 people, different concerts, different booths, just carnival games and stuff like that. And that is one of the many events that we have that helps raise money for our school. And so like I said before, we are internally funded, and so we have various events throughout the year that help us continue to provide education for our students through scholarship generation. And so that's one of the really cool events, and it's also a really nice event for our students, right? So they get to have some fun on a Friday. They cancel classes, and then on a Saturday as well. And we actually kick off Fiesta in San Antonio. So if you haven't heard of Fiesta, it's basically like a whole week of different events happening in the city of San Antonio, different celebrations, and we actually kick it off here at St. Mary's. Now, for the academic part of the school, this is a picture of all the majors. Of course, there is several branches within each one, but this is just kind of to give you an overview of all the different majors, the general areas that students can major in. And so we do have teacher certification as well for those who are interested in teaching. And then we also have some available minors that you can get into. So I think one of the newer ones was the geology minor. So we do have a rock collection of different rocks and colors and all that, which is really cool. And so students can go see that museum, but we do have a specific minor offered for that. So for our students who are interested in being business leaders, who maybe want to start their own organizations or want to start their own business, we do have the Grieche School of Business, which is actually named after Mr. Bill Grieche. He is the actual CEO, and he was the founder of Valeto Gas. So if you ever pumped gas at a Valeto gas station, that's the gentleman that actually started that organization, and he's an alumni of St. Mary's. So he comes by and says hi to our students every now and then, and also helps us out with different scholarships that I'll kind of talk about in a little bit as well. But he is a really awesome guy, and hence why we named our school. And these are some of the popular programs that we have. We have accounting, management, marketing. We also have digital marketing now, finance and risk management. And these are the more popular ones. Of course, there's different sub branches and other majors available, but these are the ones you'll see more commonly. And we do have different unique opportunities. We have what's called the Forum Breakfast and Forum Dinners, where we bring different CEOs from San Antonio and surrounding areas or from around the country, and that basically they come and talk to our students about the business world and different issues and how they're being solved, and just kind of gets students immersed into the world of business. And you can actually go and eat with them, so you can actually sit with them and kind of interact and network. So I think that's one of the really cool opportunities. And we also travel a lot, so our business students will be traveling to different countries. They'll be traveling to different parts of the US, visiting companies like PayPal, LinkedIn, Facebook. And so it's a really awesome, very immersive, and I think, it being smaller in size kind of allows students to really network and learn what the business world looks like. And so there's a lot of opportunities that our professors come by and share with our students. And lastly, I want to just mention we are AACSB accredited. So only roughly about 7% of the business schools around the world have this accreditation. So it's good to know that, it's really high quality education. It's been certified as well by this organization. Now, moving on onto our humanities school. So this is the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. This is where you'll find the teaching tracks. We also have forensic science at an undergrad level, which is pretty awesome. If you like watching Criminal Minds or like investigations and things like that, that's something that our students get to do hands-on. So we have some internships where our students work with investigation firms. One of my friends actually was doing an internship with an investigation firm, and she would actually go to the crime scenes and report off of what she saw. And so I think it's not for me. It's not something for me, but certainly available here at St. Mary's. And we also have criminal justice, really good track for students interested in law school. Psychology is another popular major. We do have opportunities for students to go visit the beluga whales in SeaWorld if you are in the psychology department, so pretty unique options. We also have political science, which tends to be very popular, specifically because we do have our law school, so it's a really good introduction into the law processes. So a lot of students will do that major and then transition into law school. And then exercise and sports science is for our students who want to go into coaching, or maybe want to go into physical therapy, kinesiology. So that's a major that we have available for our students as well. And now going into our STEM field. So a lot of people, when they think of liberal arts, they think of more of the humanities side. But St. Mary's actually is a little bit backwards, I would say. We actually are very STEM heavy. specifically in our biology program. It's actually our most popular program on campus. And I just want to mention a couple programs here. We do have computer science. We also have that specialization for those students interested in video game design. So a lot of students are working with Disney if they want to do animations, programming. It's now becoming a little bit more computerized, and so students also can do that. And then we also have cybersecurity. So those who it's a growing field. Everything is kind of transitioning virtual. We're seeing that change, and so making sure everything's secure online is something that's very big. And so we do have that specialization as well. Now, for our engineering programs, we do have four ABIT accredited programs. We have mechanical, computer, electrical, and industrial engineering. And so those are the four programs that do have ABIT accreditation, just because ABIT accreditation is basically the most premier accreditation an engineering program can have. It's usually there in case there's any lawsuits of what you created has any problems with the community or anything like that. That protects you from being sued. And so that's a really good accreditation to have. And then in the competitive world that we have, it's another thing to add onto the resume. And also, just to finish off, we do have biochemistry and biology as an option for our students who want to do pre-med or want to go into the health field. So I'll kind of talk about that, why that's one of the popular majors. So here in San Antonio, we have UT Health, and specifically, we do have some partnerships with them for students who want to do nursing, for students who want to do physical therapy. We also have medical tracks available for students who want to go in there as well. And we also, along with that, we do have various early acceptance programs for our students who want to go into the medical field. And so you can see here, we have one in St. Louis, and our newest one is the Baylor College of Medicine. So we're super proud to have that now available, because a lot of our students are interested in going to really awesome medical schools, and that being one of them is really awesome. So you can have a pre-acceptance before graduating college and already be accepted to medical school, which is a very, very big deal. Getting into medical school is pretty hard, and so you have that option to apply beforehand and be accepted. So that's really awesome. And of course, we have Dr. Carly Friedman, who is the pre-health advisor. So one of the cool things is that here at St. Mary's, we have a bunch of advisors for our biology students. So you have the academic advisor that helps you choosing classes. You have the department biology advisor that will help you with just kind of gearing you towards the right track. And then, of course, Dr. Carly Freeman will also help you with that. So she is specialized specifically in getting you into medical school. So over our past 10 years, we've had roughly about a 65 to 70% entrance rate into medical school, which compared to the national average, which is 30 to 40%, we're actually doing super awesome. And I think that goes to show the dedication and the advisors that we have specifically for our students going into that track. Now, finally, a lot of people know us because of our law school, and so I do want to mention just a few things here. We do have the Nelson Wolf Early Acceptance Program, and this is a program that offers admission to our law school at an early point. So you can actually be taking law classes your senior year of college, which is super awesome. It saves up a year and roughly about $15,000 of tuition, and so it saves up a lot of money. So that's something that we definitely have available due to the fact that we have the law school here on campus. And so there's different requirements that they have in order for you to actually be accepted that senior year, but it's available for any major. So any major can do this. If you're doing business or if you're doing biology, you can certainly go into the law school as well and do the early acceptance program. So some cool things to know about that. And then also we do have guaranteed admission for any student that graduates from St. Mary's. So as long as you graduated from St. Mary's, and you basically have a good GPA and do the LSAT score that's on here on the screen. Those are basically the requirements. So the higher the GPA you have, the less the LSAT score that we require. And roughly the highest that you can get in an LSAT score, I believe it's an 180 point average, and so 150 is actually pretty achievable. So that's something good to know as well. And this is Dr. Sonia Garcia, which is the pre-law advisor. So we just have a lot of advisors here. And now, just to give you an idea of all the companies that our students have gotten to work with, that they've gone to, I actually worked with Telemundo 60 in the television network, editing commercials and working with anchors. And so that was one of the things that I got to do as a job. So I worked there for 2 years. I also interned with them, and so I've gotten to see that side. But students, they get to go out and also go to different schools. So Johns Hopkins is a big research school, or we have a couple students there. Coca-Cola, Spurs, USAA, you name it. Our students have been there, and it's really nice to kind of see this page, just because it reminds us of all the results that we're getting out of the education. Now you say, Jose, this sounds really cool. How do I apply to the university? So really cool, awesome thing is that our application is completely free. It doesn't cost to apply to St. Mary's. You can apply either through Apply Texas, St. Mary's application, or the Coalition app. So there's 3 different forms to apply. And we do have available options to do also test optional or test conditional. So if you do decide to send in your test scores or not, you can still apply for admission and scholarship purposes. And so don't let that deter you. And so if you've been doing good academically, we want to make sure that you also have a fair chance to still receive awesome scholarships. And so I do like to mention that that those are the 3 requirements that we have: the application, the high school transcript, and the test score or the resume. So the resume usually helps us get an idea of a little bit more of what your background is, right? So we like to read holistically, and so we like to read your essay, and so those are things that I recommend that you submit, because it helps us get a better understanding of how we can help you out as well in your journey. And so and we can also qualify you for additional scholarships. So that's another thing that I did want to mention. And talking about additional scholarships, these are some of the programs that we have right off the back as you are coming as an incoming freshman. So we do have the Grieche Scholars Program, which is specifically for our students who are in business, as well as the Dean Scholars Program. The Grieche Scholars Program is the only scholarship that provides full tuition, pays for full tuition at St. Mary's, does have immersive experiences where you get to study abroad, and you also get to travel the country as well. So that's a really awesome program for business students. The Dean Scholars Program is very similar. It has a $5,000 stipend for students who want to study abroad, and so that's a really cool program as well. The honors program is for those who want to do research, want to have classes within other honor students. It tends to be geared for students who like to just kind of learn in a Socratic method. So instead of actual lectures, they have the classes be more of a conversation rather. So they'll have their readings and then they'll come into class and actually just talk about it instead of be lectured by the professor. And so that's really interesting, a different format style of learning. And so they have their own honors classes that they get to pursue. And we also have the Army ROTC as well as the Air Force ROTC. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, we do have those 2 programs, and it basically does pay for full tuition as well as living expenses. So that's something good to take note of. They do have their trainings. It does happen here on our campus grounds, as well as sometimes we do work with the ones in UTSA. So students might we work with those two schools, and so it's pretty cool that we get to network with other areas in other schools as well in that program. And in terms of music scholarships, if you are musically inclined, if you sing, if you do play an instrument, we do have scholarships ranging from $1,000 to $8,000 in that area. So great opportunities available within there. We do have the Mariners Leadership Program, which is a $3,500 scholarship for students who like to volunteer, who like to have a faith-based background. So that's a really cool program as well. And then lastly, our two scholarships. We have the Alumni Scholarship, and this one specifically in reference to other alumni. So if you do have family or friends that have graduated from St. Mary's, you can actually have them fill out the Alumni Scholarship, and it's probably the easiest application out of all. It takes about a couple minutes, and basically that submits your name for the possibility to get an additional scholarship. And like I mentioned before, the athletic scholarship is something that we do offer for our athletes. So we do have some scholarships for our students. And I do want to say that the girls are usually the better athletes on our campus. So sorry for the guys, but the girls tend to take up that gold spot. And then now finally, I do want to mention this is something I definitely recommend all our students fill out: the financial aid application, whether that be through FAFSA or TASFA, whichever one qualifies for you. And so this is an application that opens roughly around October most of the time, and gives you the opportunity to receive additional funds. It's how we create our scholarships and our scholarship award. And so you want to make sure that you do send that to the schools that you do apply for. And so that's something that we consider whenever we're looking at your application to create your full award package that will include your scholarship upon admission. And so these are a couple, I'm going to skip through these. So ways to connect, you want to make sure that you're able to connect with us and also get to visit the school that you are looking to go to. So try to find opportunities to visit campus, get to see if it feels right for you. And so that's something that I definitely pursued when I was looking at colleges. And so I was looking at different parts in Texas. I got to visit. But happened to be that here in San Antonio, the city where I grew up on, was where I was going to go to college. And so I did get to live on campus, so I got to have that experience. But get to visit, see if it's right for you. It's weird, but you kind of get a vibe of something is right. And so I want you to also have that same experience, and so get to have that tour and get to visit campus. And so this is a great way, and this QR code actually takes you to our visit page. And so that's basically all that I have for you all at this point. Is there any questions, Ms. Lomas, that you think I could answer for the students as well?
So we wanted to know, I think we've heard it with a previous private university, and we wanted to see as well for St. Mary's, is there a specific course that students have to take during their first year because it is a private school, or is there anything specific, courses, anything like that?
Yes, no, for sure. Yes. So we do have an introductory course. Of course, we do have our orientation that kind of helps with the majority of it, but we do have an introductory course basically that helps students find clubs, just basically be prepared for classes, and what we call it is an ND class, right? And basically what it is just an introductory class into college. Really helps our first generation students just kind of learn what the process are, where to find resources on campus, and also kind of start building connections within the classroom. And so it's a pretty cool class that we have. And normally we do have sometimes the professors have their own textbook, or it kind of varies. Every professor kind of treats it differently, but it will be a faculty member teaching the course.
Awesome. And then one last question. You mentioned how, of course, you grew up in San Antonio and decided to go to St. Mary's. What was it that ended up attracting you to attending St. Mary's?
So like I said, it was interesting because I actually visited St. Mary's 3 times before I actually decided this was the place, because sometimes you go, you attend a tour, and it just goes really well, and there's always that, like, is that true, like, maybe I should go a second time just to see if everything was right. And so I went a second time, everything made sense. And so that's why I decided to come to campus, or to St. Mary's specifically. And also, I do want to say a lot of people deterred me from actually applying to private schools, because the I guess the stereotype that it's too expensive. But they actually ended up giving me more scholarship money than other universities, even public universities. And so that's why I always tell students to put it into consideration. It could be a possibility. And so that's something that was, in my case, the option. And so hence why I decided to come.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you want to just go ahead and put in about St. Mary's?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think just in general, I would say stay curious, stay informed, and really enjoy the process of looking at colleges. I know it can be very overwhelming, especially in the virtual world that we live in now. But really get to connect with your admission counselors. We're certainly always available to answer any questions that you have. And that's one of the things that I didn't know when I was going into college, that there is people that are there reviewing your application, helping you through the process. And so reach out to them, whatever school that might be. And if it is St. Mary's, well, then you can get in contact with me. And my contact information is on the screen as well. So love to get connected.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this recording with us.
Thank you,
Um,
Ms. Lomas.